I've been thinking about all the things you do.
Hey fellow foodies, it's Faye from faysfood.com. Today I'm going to show you what I think is kind of the definition of a show-stopping dessert for this holiday season, and that is this Apple Crumble Tart. It comes together really quickly. There's pretty much minimal baking, and it's just so good. You guys will want to give this a try. So you want to start out by making the apple mixture first. It's basically like an apple pie filling, homemade. Do not use the canned stuff, it's just not as good. You want to just cook the apples until they're tender and no longer like firm to the bite. You don't want them mushy either, but you do want them cooked pretty well. Okay, we eventually add a slurry as we're cooking this to thicken it up, and then you take it off the heat. We're gonna let it cool for a bit off the heat and set it to the side while we work on our next component. Alright, so next we are going to make our crust. I'm making a graham cracker crust. I also tested it with like a sugar cookie dough crust, which works fine, but I found the graham cracker crust much better. You can also make maybe a ginger snap crust. I think that would work well as well. So you just combine all your crust ingredients together until you get like a sandy mixture. Pour this into a greased tart pan, and then basically do your thing. Flatten this out as much as you can with your hands. I go in with a measuring cup to help me out as well. And it's not going to be perfect, but just flatten the bottom and the sides. Get them as even and nice looking as you can. And once you do that, you just want to bake this off at 350 for 10 minutes. And then you just set it aside to cool while we work on the next part. Alright, so next we're going to make a streusel topping. Now, this comes together very easily as well, just like the crust. The key here is you want to make sure the butter is cold. What you want to do is you get it all together and then pour it onto a parchment-lined sheet tray. And then I clump it together in my hands until I have these big lumps and clumps of mixture so that it cooks like in a big clump, because that's what's gonna go on top of our tart. Okay, so you bake it off and let it cool. And then we're gonna work on our filling. Now remember all the ingredients, the cooking times, baking times, whatever, everything, instructions, all of it in detail is gonna be on my blog, okay? I'm also going to put the ingredients and instructions in the description for you guys that want to stay on YouTube. Alright, so for the filling, it's basically a play on vanilla ice cream. So I wanted to make this really vanilla-y, if that's a word. So I added vanilla extract as well as vanilla bean. It comes together really quickly. It's basically just a whipped cream, stabilized whipped cream base. So you want to make sure your cream is cold, your whisk is cold, and your bowl is cold, so that this can come together really easily for you. Just whip it until it's a medium peak like that. It should hold its shape. And then you just pour it into the crust. Obviously the crust has cooled by now. And then you take a offset spatula, spread it out as best as you can. And for me, at this point, I'd be good just digging into this, just taking a spoon to this and call it a day. But for you more, civilized people that want to take it a step further, we'll just continue. And on top of this, we'll add the rest of our things that we worked on, the apple filling and the streusel topping. You can see how it already looks good. You can see those vanilla specks in there. It's so good. All right, so now we can add our apple pie filling or apple mixture, and you don't want to add too much. Just add as much as you can on top. Don't want to go over the edges either. And obviously the mixture has cooled down. You don't want to put the streusel or the apple warm on the cream, obviously. All right, and that's pretty much it. At this point, I would put it in the fridge and let it set up for at least 4 hours or up to overnight. And yeah, if you want to go a step further, you can definitely dust it with some powdered sugar to give that bakery kind of look. This is pretty much it. This thing just tastes so good. It's like every combination of like apple dessert you can possibly love all in one. And like you saw, it came together pretty quickly. Kind of minimal baking. We're all just baking the streusel and the crust for a bit. And you can just see this is that type of dessert, that show-stopping dessert you want for the holidays. It is just full of layers, baby. We got the cream layer here that gives you that vanilla ice cream like taste and texture, and then the apple mixture and the streusel topping. It's a little cakey and a little bit of a crunch. And if you want to go extra, like top it with that salted caramel sauce on my blog, you will not regret it. Give this a try, guys. For the full recipe, it's on facefood.com. Comment below if you have any comments or questions. I would love to hear from you if you guys do end up trying this. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.
I've been reading you to figure what you're down for. I wanna figure out to make it come around. But we should quit the game and settle things right here, right now. I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about all the things you do. I wanna take you from